showing
All
my.
right, we're back. Season 2, episode 20. By special invitation, right, Nick? We got Ken
That's right.
Nadaski as
He
our
was
guest.
very kind to come on short notice. We really thank him for doing this sincerely. This is, our basketball episode, and after last year's picks, we needed to get somebody who knew something about basketball.
Oh
So
boy,
we got a Division One horse from a
more like a
good
mule
great
or a
player from
donkey.
back in the day, and we're excited to have Ken Nadaski as a guest this week.
Thank you,
So
You're
gentlemen.
here's
very
the
welcome.
backdrop of the
Thank you.
story. I went to high school with Kenny.
Yes,
He's
sir.
1 year older than me. I played
Oh,
baseball.
yeah, yeah. You had to bring up the age.
I played baseball. He played basketball. I was not tall enough to play basketball on that Killian team. That was a very good team. And so Ken went to Jacksonville on a scholarship. I went to University of Maryland. Nick went to Jacksonville out of high school and then
That's right.
transferred to Maryland.
That's
So
right.
me and Nick are hanging out as I'm stealing cable from my neighbor and to watch the
Lo and behold,
NCAA tournament, by the way, this time of the year. I said, where'd you go to college? He said, oh, I went to Jacksonville first. I said, do you know Kenny Nadaski? He said, of course I know Kenny Nadaski.
yeah, when Nick and I
Bingo.
used to hang out
Yeah.
Connected the
back in the
dots.
day.
So, Nick, you want to bring up some of the old classic
Oh boy,
Miami
here we
Dade
go.
County?
Well, let's just. So, I mean, do you guys want like looking back in hindsight? Killian had a lot of great players. Yourself, Ricky Blanton was 2 years behind you. He went to
Yep,
LSU
yep.
Yeah.
and then went on to, I think, had a cup of coffee with the Chicago Bulls. Um, but
Sounds about
it
right.
was there's quite a bit of talent, a great team. Um, but I guess back in, or maybe it's still the case, it was very hard to make headway, to get out of the district, or to get through the regionals and to
Yeah.
get to the state finals or semifinals. There was Christopher Columbus team. There were teams like Carroll City, Miami Jackson, Northwestern,
Northwestern.
and so
Yeah.
Hmm.
forth.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, don't forget Miami High and Chief. Remember Chief?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah. South Miami was. Colsey is still around, by the
right,
way. Anyway, South Miami was competitive with Simon Codrington. I don't know if you remember Simon
right.
and
Palmetto
Cheese.
was good too, wasn't they, with Orson Mobley?
Palmetto was awesome.
Yeah.
Palmetto had Tabachman, Mobley. Uh, oh boy, who's the little point guard? Ah,
Well, and then Blanton went to the Final Four with that LSU '86 team,
yes, he
playing
did.
center for them.
Let me tell you, I could. Nick mentioned a couple, but let me tell you, there was my junior, senior year was competitive. Miami High, don't forget Miami High with a number of good players on that team. So I mean, it was competitive and
Was,
big,
was
big
Shaky
man.
their coach? Shaky Rodriguez their coach?
Shit. Well, yeah, it had to have
Yeah,
been shaky because
he's a
Kaufman had
legend.
left and was at Killian, obviously. So Shaky was head coach, and let me tell you, teams were big. Now to put a team together big, you got to be like Columbus and steal them from other teams. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I meant, put together a team from all over the place to get a, you know,
A big
bunch of
front
big guys
line.
put together. Yeah.
Yeah,
Why don't you tell us
But
about the Sun Belt, Kenny? How was the
ooh,
Sun Belt Conference?
do I have stories to tell? The Sun Belt was awesome. The Sun Belt is it still around? I think it's around, but in a
it's
different
around, but different teams.
format, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, teams are totally different and all
yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, but if I could just say one thing about high school basketball back in the day, Fernando, and you can probably, what both of you can back me up on this, is teams were just like, for example, my son looks at, like a roster, like my roster at Killian in 1982. Damn, you guys look, you're big.
Yeah.
Even your guards are big. they just don't grow them like they used to. I don't
No,
know. What's in the water, man? I don't, they just don't grow them like they used to. Kids
right.
nowadays, you look at like what now they would consider a big roster, and they're just not, the kids are just not big,
You mean
and
strength
healthy.
wise?
And
They're
yeah,
skinnier. Yeah.
just smaller and skinnier. I mean, Columbus is an exception, because they've got the two boys, you know, what's their name? I'm showing my
Oh,
age.
yeah, the Boozer boys.
The
Yeah,
Boozer boys.
the
Yeah.
Boozer
Right.
boys, right.
But you know,
Did
but
the one thing I do remember about that team, your team, and then the following year was
82?
everyone was like 6'6", 6'8",
Oh,
right?
yeah, and then you mentioned districts, or Nick mentioned getting out of districts. I mean, how we never got out of districts and went to regional, I have no idea. With Ahmet Center, Doily is 6'4", Donald Hollis 6'5". I mean, Ricky was 6'5" at two guard, you know?
All cut too. Everyone was pretty fit, man, like muscular, not like
Sure.
skinny. I remember Doyley was a beast. That guy was
Well,
thick.
and Donald Hollis put on weight. I mean, over the summer, and when he came back his senior year, maybe his junior year, but senior year back, and I'm still in touch with Donald, believe it or not. I
Good.
Good.
he's in Atlanta. He comes down every once in a while and we'll talk. But he was just a big boy. I hated covering Donald in practice because he was just a bruiser. He was a bruiser. Big boy, 6'4", like 250 muscle.
I grew up playing with Ricky all the time as kids in our neighborhood.
And Ricky, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
imagine Ricky was 6'5" at two guard.
Yeah.
So how we never got out of districts, I don't know. I'm not going to go there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a,
I'm gonna blame Kaufman.
well, yeah, I just said I'm not going to go there, but
I went for you. It's
you
okay.
went there. I don't know. Yeah, he probably would say we didn't want it, or
Right.
something like that. I don't remember that, and I don't remember wanting it. I don't remember not wanting it. I just remember we were big and we should have been contenders, but
Right.
shoulda, coulda, woulda, right?
Yeah. All right,
Right.
let's go, boys. NC2A time. I love this time of the year, obviously. College football is really ramped up because they've seen what I think college basketball has done with the marketing, and now football's gotten as big as this, but with the expanded playoffs and all that. Um, Kenny, I'm going to lean on you a little bit for your expertise.
Oh,
What do you think about the nil money, Kenny? What would they have paid
the
you,
what?
Kenny?
The what?
What would you have gotten paid to go play at Jacksonville in today's market?
Nothing. It
No,
would have
no.
looked no.
Every player's getting paid today.
What is it called? NIB?
NIL.
NIO?
NIL
Sorry, NIL.
naming,
Yes.
image, and likeness.
I'm sorry, but I don't even know what it's called because I try to just totally blow it off and ignore
Yeah.
it. And I think if you want my personal opinion, I think it's
We do.
I think it's ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know I'm sure you guys will voice your opinion about not ridiculous. I think, how do I say this? Okay, refresh my memory. Basically, these guys are given money based on how good they are.
It's pay for
It's a
play.
brand. You're paying for a brand name,
Yeah, it's pay
or
for
you're paying.
play is what it is now.
Yeah,
It started
I
as,
think it's
hey, you can go earn money in the open market advertising your brand, your person, who you are. But then that became harder, so they just said, screw it, let's just pay the players to come to universities. And what's happened is the big schools with money, like the Southeastern Conference, has all that football money. As you saw yesterday, they got 14 teams in the tournament.
yeah,
Unprecedented because they bought pretty much every team that's in the
yeah,
tournament for them.
and I think in a way it's taken away from loyalty to a school.
Oh, definitely.
Kids don't
Yeah.
play for a
Yeah.
logo or
Yeah.
for a team or for a school. They play, hey, who's going to give me the most money for my name, my
I figured
product.
that out hard and early. So I root for Maryland. I went to Maryland, but I'm not falling in love with any players anymore because I know they could be gone tomorrow.
Right, exactly. That's what I don't like
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
I understand a lot of these kids are talented. I understand that, you know, uh, they may be on hard times or whatever, and the money is going to help family, et cetera, et cetera. But I just don't
Right.
agree. I don't like what it does to the game. You know, I
What
you
about the transfer portal, Kenny? What do you think about that? I mean, that's an interesting piece that, if you transferred back in your day, you had to sit out a year.
yeah,
In conference, you had to sit out 2 years.
right.
So
I
now
remember.
it's you transfer, you're playing next semester.
I think yeah. No, I
So
think
do you like that?
no, I don't. I think they should sit out. They're gonna go here, they're gonna go there, make them
Yeah.
sit out. They'll think twice and they'll think about, I don't know. There's a lot to be said about staying out of school and just sucking it up and playing hard
Right.
and
Waiting for your
being
time, right, to
loyal to
play.
that coach and being loyal to that team, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
Excellent point.
I would have never thought in a million years about leaving JU once I got there. That's who I signed with. That's who I was going to graduate with. Never
Right.
even crossed my mind.
Right. Those commitments are gone,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
that day is over. And you know what? I just resigned myself to the fact that, hey, times are changing. I'm old. We're getting old. We
Yes.
can't be old fogies. We gotta move with the times and let things take their course and things change and all of that. I get it. I get it. But if you ask me my opinion, I think they're going in the wrong direction. I don't like where they're taking the sport.
Yeah,
But
I think it's become semi-pro ball, to be honest with you now
yeah,
at
it
this
really
point.
has. It really has. And
Maryland
then
has one player that's been there 4 years, got offered a ton of money by the SEC schools and stayed. He was loyal.
yeah,
He's a local kid who loves being at Maryland, loves the coach, and was not leaving. And
yeah,
money wasn't going to sway him, which is
right.
pretty rare. I'm really happy that he
And
stuck around.
and let me tell you, you guys probably know it starts young. I mean, right now, this travel ball stuff is out of control at the high
Yeah,
school level. I'm
yeah.
sure you guys have seen it. I just went through it with my son. It's just out of control. It just kills the game of basketball because you see these kids playing and they're not playing to, win, or they're just playing to put on a show because they know so and so is watching them. These kids go all over the place. They're all over the place.
Yeah, they're traveling
Uh,
like a Division 1
it's
team,
crazy. It's
basically. Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
In a way, I'm so glad my son is done with that because now I can rest. It was
Yeah.
Right.
like every weekend we were going somewhere, Las Vegas, Atlanta, Tampa. I
It's
mean, all
expensive too, I would
yeah,
think,
we
for a
spent a
family.
fortune.
Yeah.
Imagine we flew out to Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, California. I mean, they were all
Oh,
over the place. You know,
holy cow.
yeah, and that is probably not. There's other teams that probably do much, much more.
Yeah, the
This
DC area has a huge basketball following. There's a lot of good hoops here, and those
And
teams
that's
go
where
all
the
over the
whole
place.
NIL thing, that's where it all begins, right then and there. They're just out,
Yeah.
they're not there to play basketball and win for their team. They're there to play basketball and look good for whoever's watching them.
To showcase their talent, right?
That's
Right.
it. And that's where it all begins. And so that's what you see in college.
So
That's the
here's
and
what I see happening with one, two. Nick came up with like 9 Power 5, Power 4 jobs, which are the big leagues, the big conferences. 9 of them are up right now. So this is putting pressure on coaches to deliver wins too on top of it.
yeah,
Because all the money being spent, alums are like, you get 3 years, man. You can't do something in 3 years,
this
you're done.
right.
We'll give you
But
the money for 3 years, whatever you need. But if you can't do it in 3 years, it looks like that's the timetable on some of these guys. I mean, been there a little bit longer, but I think some of the older coaches are getting run out of college basketball as well. I don't know if you've seen that as well.
sure, yeah.
Leonard Hamilton, Mike Woodson, they're all out. What's the coach at Miami? Who's up here?
Larinaga.
Larinago's up here in DC. Larinaga's out. Jay Wright left because of that. Tony Bennett left because of that. These are all like really good coaches
Yeah.
that all have walked out, and some of them got fired. Frank Dump, the coach at Iowa, got fired. Um, but so with these power jobs coming up, like the Maryland coach supposedly is interviewing with Vanilla Nova, the go coach there, because Vanilla Nova has a huge nil program. huge, because they don't have football, so all their money gets poured into the basketball program.
Right.
And Jay Wright won a couple titles. Obviously, Massimino won a title there. So their nil program, their what they can offer a coach is huge. They obviously play in the Big East, which is a huge conference, and he is really considering it. Now he may be working Maryland for a raise, obviously, because they do that as well.
Hmm.
Um, but the other coach I heard moving around was Chris Beard from Ole Miss to Indiana, which would be, I think, a move up for him because Mississippi is a football school. I mean,
Yeah.
basketball's an afterthought, but in Indiana, it's everything. Um, so I think that would be a good hire for them. I don't want that to happen, obviously, as being a Big Ten fan. What do you think about those, Nick?
A timeout, just one technical question. Adam texted me just now.
Oh boy.
Let me, I'll send him the link.
Oh my God.
All right. That's me. That's my
No,
bad.
no, it's all
I
right.
thought you guys welcomed
We
callers,
are, we do, we
No,
do.
no, we don't.
just
We
not
don't.
Fader.
Kenny, we don't. We
We
don't
welcome
welcome
we
Colin.
welcome all callers, just not Fader.
Yes.
Wait till he gets on.
Um, all right, so let's talk sleepers. I mean, I
I'm
have some teams that I like.
Nick doesn't like my pick.
Well, let's just. What do you guys have for sleepers? I have Drake. I like Drake, Yale, McNeese. I love VCU and Akron.
Oh,
Those are my kind of
don't
my.
mention that. Don't mention that acronym VCU.
Yeah.
It brings back memories of your
Oh,
Richmond days.
oh, brings back memories. Oh,
All right, Nikki,
what a
what do you
trip
have for
that was.
sleepers, Nick? Come on.
Um, I like Marquette, a little bit. They beat
Me
Maryland
too.
earlier in the
Yeah, they're
season.
good. Yeah.
I think they're solid. I'll take them as a sleeper. Um,
To take down Michigan State?
Oop, that was
yeah,
mine.
I could live with that.
I
Kenny,
was going to go with Michigan State.
you have a sleeper, Kenny, that you like coming
Michigan
out?
State. I like Michigan State.
Well, they're a two seed, so they're not really
Yeah.
a sleeper. Give me like a, a
Oh, I'm
high,
sorry.
a high,
Oh boy.
high seeded team that you like coming around.
Here's where my here's where my ignorance comes in.
You're better than I am.
What do you mean?
I don't know that much about some of these teams.
I don't. I really don't.
Right,
Really,
I guess I've kind of tuned out. This is terrible.
right.
well, the thing with sports gambling, I think, has made me tune back in.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
only a Maryland fan, but now I'm watching all kinds of games. This weekend, I watched probably 17 games. It was
Wow.
great. I loved it.
wow.
Yeah, I was just
Good for you.
glued to the TV. I mean, some of these teams that I saw that I'd never like Yale, they're really good. VCU, really good. Akron, Drake, those teams are good teams that could play with anybody. On any given day, if a good team has a bad day, they're going to lose to those teams.
Right. Well, that's just it. Yeah.
Um,
Bad days will kill you.
so
Bad days will
Indiana
kill
and
the
West
bracket.
Virginia get left out. What do you guys think about that?
I think this I guess the governor or I'm sorry, the Attorney General of West Virginia wants to launch an investigation
Oh
as to
my.
why what the Mountaineers didn't get a bid. That's crazy. I mean, come on, stop. Enough is enough,
So
you
that
know.
that's money,
Hey,
man. That's all that is. It's about money. If there wasn't so much money involved in
Uh-oh.
in oh, we have it. Oh, there he is.
There
there
he
he is.
is.
All right.
The
Jesus, on
man.
his cell phone too.
Uh,
My God.
All right.
That's old school, man.
How techie.
Ah,
That's very
Oh, that
techie,
old school.
Adam.
hey, take it easy, Nadasky.
Nice
Oh
wife
my
Hey,
beater.
God.
good to see you, Adam. Come on in.
Good
The
to see
water's
you, all of you
fine.
guys. Kenny said he was guest hosting tonight, and I couldn't resist.
All right. Good
I'm
to
just
see
a
you.
guest.
I'm
Can you
just
wear
listening.
can you wear a jersey, something? Why you gotta wear your wife beater?
Listen, I'm on Bahama time right now, okay? We didn't get home until today. It's a long story. In the Bahamas, hanging out with Shaggy. Just,
Fer- Fernando was telling me you're a hell of a cook.
I got some skills.
Yeah?
Got some skills, but you're
You're
afraid to come to the
you're
clinic.
you're not you're not he's doing laundry. Are you
Doing
doing
laundry.
laundry?
I told
I'm
you,
doing
just
laundry.
get off the
Fernando,
show.
you were
I'm going to
well.
ban you. You're going to get banned.
That's it.
I'm
That's it.
banned.
We
All
were
right.
placing bets. Is he going to
All
be
right.
cooking? Is he going to be doing laundry?
No,
Are
I'm
the
not cooking
kids
tonight.
are
I'll
the
go get
kids
it.
going to be
All right.
climbing all over him?
No, they're
Either
watching
be on the
television.
show or don't. It's
All right.
fine if you're not.
I'm going to get a jersey, old school. Just give me a
Oh, in
second.
that case,
All
I'm
right.
going to go get my jersey
That,
stolen from the JU locker room itself.
All
that,
right.
that doesn't fit anymore. Come on. No, actually, Nadaski looks like he could lace him up tomorrow.
Ah,
Oh boy, here we go. All right, you guys have your picks ready to go? Did
I
you,
think so.
Kenny? Did you make
what?
your picks?
No. Was I
You have?
supposed to?
Yes, you're supposed to do a bracket.
Nick, you didn't tell me this.
I dropped the ball on that. This is my fault.
Nick, where's that? Did you send me an email with all that? Was it an email or a text where you sent me all the JU stuff with the heathens?
Oh yeah, an
The
email.
heathens,
Yeah,
the heathens
yeah,
of past.
yeah. Can one thing I'd like to can you talk about, a little bit about Dean Smith and Bill Guthridge
Oh,
at
that's right. Yeah, you
UNC?
put some. That was something that you had. Well, I didn't
Yeah.
mean to change
I,
channels on Fernando
no,
there.
no, that
Fernando,
sounds good. I want to
sorry.
hear that. I like
How's
these.
this?
That's
Oh
Old
my
good.
school
goodness.
throwback.
There you go.
Got this at a thrift store. Melvin Bratton, baby.
You know it's basketball season though, not football.
Yeah,
Close
yeah.
I
enough.
was going to
Melvin
say,
was
you
a
got
heck of a basketball player.
Adam.
Yeah, he was.
This is a basketball
I'm banning
podcast,
him.
Adam.
I'm cutting him
All
out.
right, hold on a minute. Let me see if I
What?
got a basketball jersey.
All right.
Melvin Bratton's fine. It
I
looks
think
good.
it's
I got a story to tell about Bill Guthridge.
Yeah,
What a class act.
gut,
Both of those guys.
Dean called him, gut.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now let's get Fader back in here with his
No,
basketball.
forget about
No,
Fader.
forget.
He's a maybe. He's not even
That's
supposed to
it.
be on the
No,
show.
That's it, Fader. You're
oh,
fired. I'm
I
coming down
just
to the clinic
I did
tomorrow.
not. I just want to say this, and I'll hang up. I didn't want to be on the show. I just wanted to watch the podcast. Can't do that live.
No, no, we're not that techie.
Jeez Louise.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
send it
I'll
to you
watch
when
the
we're done.
replay tomorrow.
All right, man. Thanks, Adam, for coming on.
Okay. All right. Have
Bye.
fun, guys. Good to see you, Kenny.
Always.
He's been removed, and I'm gonna report him.
Report him to the podcast
The
police.
FCC.
That's right.
All right, Kenny, go ahead. Tell us about
Man,
the
my
gut.
experiences with Dean Smith and Bill Guthridge were just incredible. I feel like what a special. I feel blessed to have been. I'm being very serious too. I
Right.
feel
No, that's
blessed
good.
to have been part of that. I feel like they make you feel like you're part of the program at UNC, and I'm very proud to say that I went in three capacities. I went as a player at Killian. I went as an assistant coach, as a player at JU, and I went as a head coach in high school basketball. I worked their camp and knew Dean Smith and Bill Guthridge. And
Did they recruit you, Kenny?
the second time, well, I went as a player. I just kind of went. I got lucky enough to get in. And then how did I get in
Did
as
they camp? You mean the summer camp?
okay, so as a player at Killian, I went to the camp. Okay.
Great.
Then I go to JU. Bob Wenzel helped me connect with Dean Smith and Bill Guthridge, and he, basically got me a job there because they didn't remember me as a player. They just remembered me, or I got reconnected. Excuse me. So then, but then a quick story, and then I'll get back to the class act and what a blessing it was to work there. So I went there as a college player. I went there, did my thing, whatever. I think I did. I may have done that 2 years. I graduate from JU. I'm at Palmer Trinity School here in Miami-Dade as the first head coach. I was the first head coach. They merged, and I was the first head coach and looking to do something in the summer. I said, what the hell? Let me call the basketball office at UNC. What the hell? What do I got to lose, right? What are they going to say? Who are you? No.
Right.
Click, right? So I call there. I get the secretary and I tell her who I am. And I'm like, yeah, I went here as a player. I went here as a college player, blah, blah, blah. Let me give you the coach. I'm like, coach, what are you talking? So next thing I know, Bill Guthridge is on the phone. And I say, coach, he goes, Kenny, how are you? Gosh, it's great to. I'm like, coach, are you sure? I can't believe this guy remembered me. But that is just you know, that's what I'm talking about when I say class act. These guys were just good people who remembered you for, they just remember you. They took the time to remember your name and who you were from and this, that, and the other thing. And, 3 years after my career at JU, this guy's Bill. I mean, think about UNC. This is not some rinky-dink school that,
Oh no,
this
yeah.
is UNC and Bill Guthridge. And I was like, coach, man, I can't believe you remember. He goes, yeah, I remember you. And, all I can say is, when my experience there was awesome.
That's
You know,
great.
the
That's terrific.
5, 6 years I put in at UNC was awesome. And, those guys are just, I can just say, the best thing I can say is class act. They really, you know, did a wonderful job there at UNC.
How was that camp with Jordan and Worthy and those guys?
Oh
Jimmy
boy.
Black. I mean, I know that there were some players
Oh
on
boy.
those teams.
Yeah, we had pickup games
Matt
in the evening
Doherty.
at Carmichael,
Yeah.
not the Dean Dome, at
Yeah.
Carmichael.
Sam
I remember
Perkins.
early on. The later on it was the Dean Dome where we played pickup games at night. But early on it was Carmichael on campus, and I remember I covered Jordan once on a switch, and almost pissed in my pants, and was glad to switch. We switched back, but
That's,
that was
that's good.
Spud Webb was playing. I mean, Spud Webb would come over from Raleigh, Durham, and
Yeah.
a bunch of guys would play, and then vice versa when we would play over at. Actually, one summer I did both UNC and NC State,
Right.
and so some of the UNC players would show up at NC State, and those were good games. Those were good. Those were good pickup
Yeah.
games.
Terry
A lot of
Gannon, those
lot of
guys.
Duncan, a lot of Duncan going on.
Derek Wittenberg, all those guys,
Oh,
right? Sidney
oh my
Love.
God! Derek Wittenberg. You just reminded me of a story there. I don't know if I have time to tell it or not,
Of
but
course you do, Kenny. Go
huh?
ahead.
Well,
I
you
love
remember the
Derek
shot at the
Wittenberg.
buzzer that won Valvano the championship, right?
Yes.
Right.
What was his name under the basket that
Lorenzo Charles.
Lorenzo Charles. Oh my goodness. So the summer after they win that national championship, right? The Booster Club had bought a hotel across from UNC State. Yeah, North Carolina State. And they called it what did they call it? It was called the Wolf Pack Inn or something like that. And all the players stayed there. Only the players stayed at that hotel. Not a hotel, a motel, okay? Not a hotel, but a motel. And so only the basketball players stayed there. They all had different rooms, blah, blah, right? And I remember this is the summer after they win the title,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
83.
Right? We're in the parking lot, and we're shooting the what, and we're talking whatever. And here comes Lorenzo Charles. He drives up in a white uh, Cadillac, right? Nice, brand new white Cadillac, right? He pulls up, and I'm like, "Whoa, that's nice. That's very nice." I'm naive, man. I'm just a kid trying to survive at JU, right? I'm naive. I have no idea what's going on. So he pulls up in a white one. Well, and we're having a couple of beers. We're talking, blah blah blah. They say, "Hey, where's Lorenzo?" Well, he's pulling off in a black Cadillac. Now he's pulling off in a black Cadillac. I'm like, wait, didn't he come in a white Cadillac? And the guys were like, yeah, but that's a black. Well, yeah, he got two for the winning basket, one for each point scored in that winning basket. He got a white one and a black one, salt and pepper. So yeah, true story. That
That's
was
funny.
awesome.
That's a great story, man. Thanks for
True,
sharing.
true story.
No, I bet.
Oh, of
So
course it is.
Lorenzo did all right.
Yeah.
for making that, what was like an alley-oop, right? It was an air ball.
Air
Wittenberg
ball,
basically shot
right.
an air ball, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
If I remember correctly,
that's
and
right.
Lorenzo, right place at the right time. Yeah, I think the guy that forgot to box Lorenzo out is probably driving like a Schwinn.
I think that was Akeem Olajuwon. No, I think Akeem's fine
Was it?
too.
No.
Yeah, I think it was Akeem.
Was supposed to block him out,
Yeah,
and he goes NBA big time.
yeah,
Okay.
he
Yeah.
was the
Whatever
center
happened
on
to
that
Lorenzo
team.
Charles?
And Clyde Drexler was down there with him too. He
Oh
did
my
all right for
goodness.
himself also.
I was
That was
gonna
a good
say,
Houston team.
wonder
All
whatever
right,
happened to Lorenzo Charles.
Kenny,
I
so
think
you
he
don't
passed
have
away,
any picks. So
unfortunately.
me and Nick, you have your picks, Nick?
I'm gonna learn from you guys.
All
Yeah, and
right.
then you can comment, Kenny, what you think. If you
All right.
think there's if you like a different team, let us know.
If I think.
All right, Nick, you ready?
I think so.
You want
Yeah.
to start where, Nick? In the
Um,
South region, okay?
I think so.
All right. Go ahead and start on top.
Okay, obviously it's going to be chalk early. So Auburn, Creighton,
Okay.
Michigan.
I'm all in on all three of those picks. I got the same. Go ahead.
Then I got Yale.
Me too. 4 for 4.
Um, this is a tough one. San Diego State UNC. I'm going to take UNC in that one and UNC against Mississippi.
Yeah, I got Ole Miss, so I think UNC is going to be
Okay.
tired.
Yeah, we all know my record from last year, so don't do any wagering based off this.
That's fine.
Liscum versus Iowa State. Liscum,
Okay. You got Liscum
Marquette
beating
versus,
Iowa State?
yeah,
Wow, good for you, man.
Mar-
That's a bold play.
Marquette versus New Mexico. I'll go with Marquette
Yep.
and Michigan State over Bryant, but barely.
Yeah, Brian's pretty good. I saw them
Right,
play too. They
right,
got some dudes on that team for a small school.
right.
So you like Bryant with the points if you're a betting man.
Yeah, if I was a
Okay.
betting man, which I am.
All right, let me go second round. I'll do mine and you tell me if it's the same or not.
Okay,
I got Auburn and Creighton. I got Auburn winning there. Michigan and Yale, I got Michigan winning there. Ole Miss and Iowa State, which you have UNC and Lipscomb, but I got Ole Miss advancing, and then I got Michigan State beating Marquette.
What about Florida?
that's coming up.
You haven't talked about that yet?
Nope,
Right.
they're in the West region.
Sorry, I was looking for the bracket. Now I got the bracket.
Okay.
Nick, who do you got? Marquette, Michigan State.
Marquette, Michigan State. I'm going to go with Marquette.
Okay.
Um, UNC, Liscum, UNC.
Okay.
Michigan, Yale, Michigan, and Auburn over Creighton. But Creighton's
Okay.
a tough team.
And then Auburn, Michigan, who do you got?
Auburn,
Yeah, me too. All right. And then UNC, Marquette.
Marquette.
So you got Auburn, Marquette. I got Chalky McChalk. I got Auburn, Michigan State.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, let's go to the West region. Kenny, you want to make some picks in the West region now you pulled it up?
Uh, ooh, St. John's.
You
They're
like
tough.
them
I
going
like
through?
St. John's. Yeah,
They're tough.
Yeah, I
they're
like that
tough.
team too.
I've seen them play a little. I'm sorry to go to the bottom there, but
No,
I like St. John's over Nebraska. Let's do Kansas, Arkansas. That's a tough one,
right.
I think. What
I
do you
think
Yeah,
guys think?
yeah.
I'm gonna go. You know what?
So
I'm gonna go with Arkansas.
so I got Florida winning, obviously.
Yes, Florida for
UConn
sure.
beating Oklahoma.
I'm gonna go with Nick Sleeper on Drake.
Yeah, no, that was me.
I
I
don't I
picked
don't know
Drake.
why, but I got a vibe there.
I,
Okay.
I'm the one who picked Drake.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry,
I
Fernando.
love Drake.
I'm gonna go. It's 11. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Drake.
I got Colorado State beating Memphis here. And then Maryland beating Grand Canyon,
Yes.
Drake beating Missouri, and then Texas Tech winning. But then I got Drake beating Texas Tech. I got Drake in the Sweet
Yes,
16.
that's what I was looking at.
Yeah,
I sorry, I jumped ahead.
no, that's
Drake
okay.
beating Missouri, Drake beating Texas Tech, Drake.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then St. John's going through after beating Arkansas in the second round.
Yep.
I got Maryland beating Florida, Maryland and St. John's in the final eight. And I got Maryland beating St. John's and making it the final four.
Hmm.
All right, Nick, what does the West region look for you, buddy?
I have essentially the same thing you fellows have, except I have St. John's beating Maryland.
You do. So you have St.
Yeah,
John's in the final.
yeah.
Nice. All right, East region, Nick, go ahead.
Okay.
The Duke region. Those
Duke
sons of
against
bitches.
American and versus the winner of American versus Mount St. Mary's Duke. Um, the Mississippi State Bulldogs versus Baylor. Mississippi State always has a lot of horses on their team.
Oh,
I'm
goodness.
going to go with the Bulldogs there.
Yeah, me too.
Oregon versus Liberty. I'm going to go with the Liberty Flames in an upset.
Okay.
Um, Arizona versus Akron. Um, I'll go with Arizona. Um,
I got Akron there.
yeah, but that's legitimate. No, nothing wrong with that, Fernando.
Yeah, they're good.
Um, VCU versus BYU.
Guess
Um,
which one I'm going with, Nick, on that one.
BYU, yeah,
You
yeah.
got BYU, I got VCU there.
Okay. Um,
You're allowed.
Yeah.
and then Wisconsin versus Montana. I guess whiskey.
Yeah. You got Vandy or St. Mary's?
Vandy. No, I'm sorry,
Okay.
St. Mary's. The one out in California, St.
Yeah.
Mary's.
And then Bama, I guess.
And then Bama, yeah.
All right, next round going through. I got Bama and Wisconsin coming through,
Okay.
and Duke and Oregon coming through. And
Okay.
then I got Oregon beating Duke, and then playing Alabama, and Alabama beating Oregon. I got Alabama in the Final Four.
Okay, that's a good pick. That's a very
Yeah,
good
I
pick.
like that. I like that Bama team, and they got some flyers on that team. I think them losing early in the Southeastern Conference is going to help them out, give them a little rest. All right, Midwest, Nikki.
Okay, so Houston Cougars versus Southern Illinois at Edwardsville. Take
Yep,
Houston there. Um, Gonzaga versus Georgia. Every year I pick Georgia. I better stay with it. I'll take the Bulldogs.
I like Georgia there.
Yeah. Clemson versus McNeese State. Um, boy, McNeese State is an outlaw school down in Louisiana.
They're
I
good.
don't know too much
They're
about them.
good. They're
Yeah.
going to give Clemson fits. I think Clemson beats them, but it's going to be a close
Okay,
game.
let's take McNeese State. Purdue versus High Point. Purdue. Illinois versus the winner of Texas Xavier. I'll take Illinois. Troy versus Kentucky. The Wildcats. UCLA Bruins versus Utah State. I'll take the Bruins. And
I got Utah
Tennessee
State
versus
there.
Wofford, Tennessee.
Okay, so I got Tennessee beating Utah State.
Okay.
I got Illinois beating Kentucky. Purdue beating Houston, and then Houston beating Georgia. Um, then I got Houston beating Purdue and Tennessee beating Illinois, and then Houston making it to the final. I like that Houston team.
Yeah,
They're
they're
good,
they're
man.
they're excellent.
Wow, they are.
They're
That
a
Calvin
dynamite on
Sampson could really
defense.
coach. I mean, that
Right.
guy can coach. And I mean, they have some horses too on that team that are big thoroughbred guys. And then I got Maryland playing Houston in the final
Okay.
and Maryland beating Houston. I picked Maryland to win it all.
All right. Sounds good.
What's your final four, Nikki?
I guess it's Auburn, um,
St. John's.
St. John's, Houston, and what do I have out of there? Duke.
You
All
got Duke.
chalk, all one seeds or two seeds.
No, just two. You got 3 1s and a two. St. John's two.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then who do you have in the final game and the winner?
Um, I'll take St. John's. I'll take Houston to win it all.
All right. Kenny,
Then
who do you like to win it all? Who's your final four now that you've seen it? I'm gonna write it down, Kenny, so we know who you picked.
Well, to win it all, Duke.
okay, that's a good pick. You can't go wrong with that.
I told Nick earlier.
Yeah, I think
D- Go ahead.
Flag being hurt though is going to hurt them. I
Yeah,
think
it's
they get
true.
knocked out. I mean,
Yeah,
you got to
totally.
be healthy, man. Because at this time, everyone's going. I mean, they're going to kill American or Mount St. Mary's, but Mississippi State's going to play them tough. They're going to
Yeah.
battle them. Oregon's going to battle
What's
them.
the latest on Flag? Is he out or
No, he's
day to
playing.
day to day or
He's playing. Yeah, he's playing. Bad sprained ankle. That's all. I mean, which is fine. They gave him rest. He's 18 years old, man. I mean, what's a sprain when you're 18, right?
let me tell you, I'm excited about that kid, man. I'm telling you, I
Yeah,
love watching him
I'm not.
play.
He's
Yeah.
good.
And then uh to be 18. I mean, my son, the one you just met, is 19. My God, this kid is only 18. This
Yeah,
Cooper Flag.
Well,
So he's not what he's saying. He's not one and done, but two and done.
he's one and done, man.
You think so?
Yeah, yeah. Just because especially because he got hurt too, which like it probably put him in a little bit of a panic attack. But he'll be the number one pick. I'm hoping and praying Washington gets him. I'd love to see him here locally because the Wizards are building this team around all this young youth and they have some really good pieces. He would be a really good piece here in
Yeah,
Washington.
he's fun to watch.
Yeah, no, he reminds me a little bit of Bird, but maybe a little more athletic than Larry ever was.
Yeah.
But Larry's a better shooter than he ever
Oh,
will
for
be, I
sure.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So it's a little bit what kind of player you want, but I like the kid. I
But
mean,
in the open court, look out. Let me tell you,
yeah, yeah,
he has no problem throwing it down on you.
and he's getting money at
I
Duke,
love it.
but the pros are going to pay him a lot more money than he's going to get at Duke.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
about
just
money,
love.
man, and recognition. One last thing I want to bring up with you, Kenny, was that Mount Vert team last year in Florida. You heard of Mount Vert High School?
Yeah, yeah. Don't ask me too much, but
So they had their 5 starters are the best 5 freshmen in the country this year.
mm, wow.
Unbelievable. I mean, I don't know anything about Florida high school basketball, but I know one of them plays at Maryland now, who was the
Hmm.
Big Ten Rookie of the Year. Cooper was the freshman of the year in the ACC, player of the year in the ACC. The other kid, VJ Edgecombe, was the rookie of the year in the Southeastern Conference. I mean, it just goes down the line, man. They were all great players. The kid at Georgia, Newell, was a great player for them. So it's interesting. And then Liam McNeely at Connecticut was also an unbelievable talent. So pretty cool that a high school, kind of like Columbus, just went out and just said, all right, we'll take one of him, we'll take him. And they built an unbelievable high school, which never, before it was all on districting and where you live. But
Yeah,
that shit's over. Even around here, it's over.
yeah. There's no rules.
Yeah, no. All right, Nikki. So what about our RIP, buddy? What do we got?
all right. So we're gonna do two. Ken, this what this the story here is. Every episode we try to identify somebody from college athletics whose obituary, whose passing is noteworthy, and we try to talk a little bit about them. So in this week, unfortunately, two individuals passed away. I think one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. But the first individual is Junior Bridgman, who played. He's from East Chicago, which is East Chicago, Indiana, which is a
Gary?
small town next to the steel works.
Gary,
Gary,
Gary, yeah,
Hammond,
right.
and East Chicago and those places. And he was on the undefeated high school team. Um, he was at the Final Four in Louisville, and he played 13 years in the NBA. So that's a pretty good run. But then it gets interesting. He I read a quote where he said the thing that he felt that people were always going to need to eat. So I thought I was looking to invest in something, and I figured food would be the safest investment. Well, he was right. Um, he went and attended Wendy's University for I guess for franchisees, and at his peak, he had 450 restaurants. Not all Wendy's, I don't think. There's other. He owned Coca-Cola territories in the Midwest, and he brought Ebony and Jet magazine out of a distress sale. I guess the whole he worked so hard, and he ended up with 1.4 billion in assets. That's with the big.
That's
So I
unbelievable.
thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
So he's definitely not part of that 75% of NBA players who go broke once they retire.
Right,
no,
right, exactly,
no, no, no.
exactly.
He's one of the 1% that make it
Yep.
in
Yeah,
the real world.
He paid attention in high school when they taught him financial literacy.
right, right. And then the other fellow, unfortunately, Fernando knew him, I think, a little. John
Yeah,
Feinstein, who was a sports writer out of Washington, D.C., with the Washington Post. And then he wrote a whole series of books, not all bestsellers, but A Season on the Brink, which was about 40 years old, which was when he shadowed the Indiana program during the 1985-1986 season. And then he wrote A Good Walk Spoiled, which covered the PGA Tour in the early 90s. He wrote books about the Army Navy game, the Ivy League, the Patriot League. He could find a story anywhere and develop it. And he was the greatest sports writer of his era, and he did a lot for college basketball. And we're all going to miss his work. And
yeah. Well, Nick, you
those are
read
the.
all his books, right?
He's got 40 of them. I haven't read all 40 of them, but I've read a lot of them, and
Yeah,
they're all great.
yeah. He is very good, and I saw him at a few like book signings. I met him at a couple bars, having a beer with him in DC. I once ran across with my car. I drive a Mercedes. He drives a BMW. I rolled down the window. I knew he was obviously, and I said, "I'm a Mercedes guy." He goes, "I'm a BMW guy." We both laughed and took off. It's just a good, decent guy that was always around the DC area. Was on a lot of radio here. Was on a lot of TV here. But when he got really big time, obviously, but then he went back and started doing like the small time stuff, like the Patriot League, the Navy Army game that people, always romanticize about, but he wrote books about it. And then he got into doing play by play, Nick. I don't know if you knew that around here for
That's right.
Navy basketball. He did play by play. And I think a lot of he did pro bono because he just wanted to get the word out about these small programs. So good guy, will be missed. 69 died of natural causes. So
Hmm.
I hope at 69 you don't die of natural causes. I don't know what that means really. Your body doesn't usually quit at 69, but his did at his brother's house too, which was kind of odd. He wasn't at his own house. So I don't, there's more to the story, obviously, but the family wants to keep it private, so we will too as well. But will be missed, especially in this area, in the DC area where I live. He's an icon here. Him and like Kornheiser are like two big sports icons. All right, boys,
All right.
that is
Jim,
it.
thanks a lot for joining.
Yeah,
Great
Kenny,
seeing
thank
you.
you, man.
Thanks a
It's good
lot.
seeing you guys too. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah,
Our
I
pleasure.
I learned. I'm learning.
Uh,
This is great.
we'll get you on the football one too. Ken, do you follow college football?
A little bit. A
All right,
little bit.
good. Yeah, maybe Adam can join us too again. Maybe.
Yeah, and wear the jersey. Wear the basketball jersey.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And maybe he won't be
He'll
doing
finally
laundry.
he'll finally find it and put it on.
He's a clown. All right,
I
boys.
really appreciate you guys
Hey,
inviting me.
thank you, Ken.
Thanks,
Take
So,
man.
sorry.
care.
Yeah, no problem.
Nikki,
All
take
right.
care, buddy. See you, bud.
See you.
All
See you,
right, take
Fernando. See
care.
you, Ken. All
All
right.
right. Bye-bye.
Thanks.